Hey guys, everyone's doing alright. Um, I just decided I would make a video to talk about an experience I had at my summer job. Um, okay, so here's the story. Last summer, I worked, unfortunately, I worked at Walmart. It sucked. But this story about this crazy customer is one of the worst experiences I've ever had with any customer out of all the places I've worked. Okay, so I was in Florida last summer. That's where I'm from. And one day, I mean, the store I worked at, it was kind of a like a seasonal store. You had a lot of people from out of town coming in from the beach and whatnot, because it's Florida. And I was working as a cashier at Walmart, unfortunately. But I mean, the pay was good because it was a seasonal thing, and they pay better. Like they pay you better if you're working at a seasonal store as opposed to if you worked at like a normal store. It's not seasonal. So what happened was that I was at the line. I was working the register where the like the cigarettes and the tobacco and like the lotto and all that kind of stuff is. And this guy comes through my line, and oh, by the way, I waited until after I quit to tell this story because I didn't want to get in trouble. And so like I was sitting at my line and there's no one there. This guy comes through and he's like a middle-aged guy and he's got about let's say about 14, 15-year-old kid. And oh my God. And I start bringing his stuff up. He puts his stuff on the belt, and he was like, first thing he asked me was like, um, "Do you guys have like some kind of something something converter?" And I was like, I was honest. I was like, "I'm not sure what that is, sir." And he was like, "Well, there was no one working back in electronics or sporting goods, so now I'm asking you." And I'm like, and I'm like, I'm like, okay. And I was thinking to myself, that's impossible because it may not seem like it, but ever since I've never seen anyone not working back there in sporting goods and electronics. I've never seen that. There's always at least one person working back there. And so what happened next? And he was like, and I said, I'm not sure what that is. He goes, well, how about I speak to a manager? And I was like, okay, no problem. And so I called the customer service manager over, um, and she was fairly new. She had just started, uh, probably 2 weeks before this happened, and and he walked over and he was like, started talking to her and right in front of me, and he was like talking to her about how much how much he hates this store and how much it sucks, and how bad I am as an employee because I didn't know what his blah 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 converter was. And she was like, "Oh, okay, sir. I'm so sorry. Blah blah blah." And then um, I was like, "Yeah, it must have been pretty bad if you had to call a manager up here as you were checking out at your items at the up front at the checkout." And then he was like, "Oh, just ring up my items." I was like, "Okay." So rang up his items, and uh, after he was done talking to my customer service manager, which isn't like a salary manager, they're just like the upfront supervisors, and he started waiting up front with his son, I guess, for someone he was wanted to know, someone who he was just waiting for, and he was staring straight at me. I didn't have any other customers in my line, and I stared back. I can't believe I did this, but this is my this is like my only way of expressing my dissent. Showing how much I thought he was, how much just wanted to tell me how much of a douchebag he was. The only way I knew to do it. So what I did was I looked at him straight in the eye and I gave him a thumbs up and smiled. And then he walked over and he was like, Do you have a problem? And I'm like, no, I don't have a problem. And so then he runs over and gets my manager and like starts talking to her on the other side of the store, and just like starts talking to her on the other side of the store. And my other manager, the other customer service manager, gets in on the conversation, and and then I wanted to say so bad. I just wanted to say, yeah, I have a problem. You're a fucking douchebag. But I couldn't because I was at work. But I did the most I could with the situation. And this guy got so triggered, and so he left. And then this happened like right before I was getting off. And so they sent me off the register. They're like, all right, Andrew, you can go home. So I clocked out, walked outside, and I walked outside, and there he was with his son. Uh, there he was with his son, or whoever it was, just sitting out there. And I was so tempted to like drive past. They were sitting out front of the store, and I got in my car to leave, and I was driving, and I saw them in the front, and I was so tempted to just like wave at them as I left and ask them if they needed a ride, but I didn't. And after that day, I never saw this guy again. He was the rudest, most horrible person I've ever seen. And I mean, he could have gone to. I mean, it was a smaller store, and that we didn't have, as much as a normal Walmart did. So I mean, he had other options. There was a bigger Walmart just down the road, and yeah, I'll never forget that as long as I live. It's crazy, um, but yeah, safe to say I will never work at Walmart again. Most people, I'd say about 90% of people are nice, but there's just that 10% of people who are the rudest, meanest person you'll ever meet. And I just unfortunately encountered one of those people. And I mean, I don't understand how you could be rude to a cashier, you know, because, if I was ever shopping at any store, I mean, it would take so much to get me to raise my voice at a cashier. Who hasn't done anything to me. It would take the cashier doing something really stupid or really screwing me over or something like that. Um, and yeah, so I just wanted to tell that story. I tried to forget it, but yeah. Anyways, if you watch this, thanks for watching. Uh, Try to post as many videos as I can. And I think that's about it.